Psychological science is important because it's about us. It's about human beings, how we think and feel and act and relate to one another. I think psychology and the study of how human beings develop, how we perceive the world, how we learn, remember, how we think, the emotional challenges that we face and the joys that we have. There's just not a more interesting subject in the world, and that's why I feel like I'm so privileged to be able to spend my days teaching it to so many people. I grew up in Seattle, the son of an insurance agent, and at age 16 I passed a state test to become a licensed insurance salesperson. So that was my first idea. And then just before my senior year decided, I don't want to become a doctor, I want to become a professor. I ended up applying to psychology graduate schools, a couple of which liked my natural science background. I was focused on teaching. That's what I wanted to do, and be at a student-centered, teaching-oriented institution.
It's biologically influenced, but diet and exercise matter too.
I've had the pleasure of teaching more than 65,000 undergraduates and could not have done so successfully without the help of my invisible yet ever-present colleague and friend, David Myers.
Well, I think climate change and issues related to sustainability and income inequality are in the culture and are going to be major concerns that psychological science is beginning to contribute to and will even more in the future. Another way in which the world is changing is that we're more connected. And so we now see emerging studies of virtual relationships and how they form and how people communicate and network together, often with like-minded others. To get included in the book, information needs to clear 3 hurdles in my mind. One is it important? And I ask myself, does an educated person need to know this? Second, it has to be information that I can communicate. It's not so technical and so esoteric that I can't put it into a form that a reader could understand and potentially remember for some time. And third, I have to have a place to hang it in my structure. People think of the book, because it has one author, as being sort of a one-person operation, and that couldn't be farther from the truth, because there's a whole team of world-class editors that work with the author to create it. Plus, we have a whole team of people working on the whole teaching package, including recently the Psych Portal with all its interactive content. And now, in the new edition, with the Learning Curve, which is an adaptive quizzing system that builds on this idea that the active processing and rehearsal of information enhances learning and memory. And what Launchpad does is help guide people into deciding what to use and when as they integrate and build their courses. And now we also have a virtual faculty lounge where teachers can come together, share ideas. So all of these resources together make such a rich world for teachers of psychology today.
As an instructor, I appreciated the supplementary materials that came with the book. The online resources complemented the material I prepared for the classroom.
The examples in the text have helped me remember the material years later.
One thing in my professional life that I've applied to my personal life is taking what I know about the social psychology of persuasion and applying it to my hearing advocacy. I have an avocational passion, which is transforming the way the United States provides listening assistance to those of us with hearing loss.
It was just an incredible kind of transformative experience for me. All of a sudden, this clear voice was talking from the center of my head.
I've written more than 30 articles and sent 10,000 emails tirelessly, I guess, promoting this to anybody who will listen. The New York Times made a big story out of this just a couple months ago, and it became almost immediately the month's second most emailed article, and there's more media to come, National Geographic and others. My interest in basketball goes back to my childhood, when I read every basketball fiction book in the Seattle Public Library system. And I play, usually 3 days a week, pick up basketball. Democracy flourishes when there's an educated public. When we take the information that used to be available just to the elite and make it equally available to everybody. Now we've leveled the playing field. But I also have 3 children and 1 grandchild who's a toddler. And so I have a great investment in the future, which is her future and everybody else's future. Anything I can do in my little way to contribute to a future where people think smarter, think more critically, view others with more compassion and less judgment. Anything I can do to contribute to that future, which will be her future, that's my calling.